Let's look at the different types of audits and what they mean in real life. Information system audit reviews IT systems and controls. Example: auditing a bank's online banking platform to confirm it's secure and transactions are properly logged. Compliance audit checks if the organization follows laws, standards, or policies. Example: verifying if a telecom company complies with Nigeria Data Protection Act, NDPA. Financial audit focuses on financial records and reporting accuracy. Example: reviewing a company's accounting system to ensure all expenses and revenues are properly recorded. Operational audit evaluates efficiency and effectiveness of operations. Example: assessing how quickly customer complaints are resolved in a hotel chain to improve service delivery. Integrated audit combines financial, operational, and IT reviews. Example: when auditing a payroll system, reviewing both salary calculations and access control. Administrative audit looks at management processes and structure. Example: evaluating if department heads have clear reporting lines and decision-making authority. Specialized audit, third-party, fraud, forensic, focuses on unique risks or incidents. Example: investigating suspected vendor fraud or verifying a cloud service provider's compliance. Computer forensic audit involves digital investigation. Example: analyzing a breached email account to trace data theft or insider misuse. Functional audit reviews one business function. Example: auditing the HR department's payroll approval process. Readiness assessment ensures systems are prepared for use or certification. Example: checking controls before a new ERP system goes live. Each audit type helps management improve performance, strengthen control, and build trust in business operations. Control self-assessment, CSA, is a process that allows employees and managers to evaluate the strength of their own internal controls. Instead of waiting for auditors to identify weaknesses, the people who run the processes take ownership of assessing risks and controls. The IS auditor's role here is mainly as a facilitator, guiding the discussion, providing structure, and ensuring the assessment stays objective. A common approach is a facilitated workshop, where auditors and business process owners come together to discuss controls that address key risks. Example: in a bank's loan department, staff and their manager might meet with the IS auditor to review how access to the loan processing system is managed, identifying gaps and suggesting improvements. CSA helps organizations build a culture of accountability, improves control awareness, and often reduces audit surprises later. Control self-assessment, or CSA, helps organizations make sure their internal controls are working as they should. The main goal is to involve managers and staff directly in reviewing and improving the controls in their own areas, not just relying on auditors. First, CSA builds awareness. It helps managers understand why controls matter. For example, in a bank, CSA sessions may help branch managers identify weak password practices or gaps in transaction approvals that could expose the bank to fraud. Next, it improves risk management by catching control weaknesses early. In a telecom company, employees reviewing SIM registration controls may discover loopholes that allow duplicate registrations or data leakage. It also promotes accountability. Everyone takes ownership of control performance. For instance, in a hospital, department heads ensure that access to patients' medical records is restricted to authorized personnel only. CSA also supports internal audit. When departments review their own controls, internal auditors can focus on higher risk or more technical areas, like cybersecurity or data privacy. A manufacturing firm, for example, may let production managers handle operational control reviews, while auditors test system access controls. Another key goal is improving efficiency. In a retail company, CSA reviews might reveal that inventory tracking can be automated, saving time and reducing manual errors. Finally, CSA encourages continuous improvement. In a government agency, feedback from CSA workshops might lead to new employee training to address emerging threats like phishing or data misuse. In short, CSA makes risk management everyone's responsibility. It creates awareness, accountability, and continuous improvement across the organization. Control self-assessment, CSA, offers many practical benefits to both management and auditors. First, it helps with early detection of risks. For example, in a bank, a CSA workshop might reveal that users still share login details for loan processing systems, a risk that can be fixed before it causes a security incident. Second, CSA builds teamwork. Because it involves employees directly, it brings departments together. In a telecom company, when IT and sales teams assess customer data protection together, they better understand each other's challenges and work more effectively as one team. Third, it strengthens internal controls. For instance, a manufacturing company might find through CSA that segregation of duties in procurement isn't properly enforced, leading to quick corrective action and fewer fraud risks. It also creates a sense of ownership. When employees identify control weaknesses themselves, they are more willing to fix them and less resistant to new controls. CSA raises awareness of risks and organizational goals. In a hospital, for example, nurses become more aware of data privacy laws when participating in CSA, helping to protect patient information. Another key benefit is better communication between management and operations. In a government agency, feedback from CSA sessions helps top management understand the real issues field officers face in enforcing controls. Finally, CSA improves audit ratings and provides assurance to regulators and management that controls are adequate and working effectively. For instance, companies preparing for SOX compliance or CBN audits often use CSA results to demonstrate their internal control strength. In short, CSA is not just about finding weaknesses, it builds collaboration, ownership, and assurance across the organization. While CSA offers great benefits, it also has some limitations that organizations need to manage carefully. First, CSA can be mistaken for a replacement of internal audit, but it's not. For example, in a financial institution, some departments may believe that once they complete CSA, the auditors no longer need to review their area, which is wrong. CSA supports audit work. It doesn't replace it. Second, employees may see it as extra work. In a telecom company, managers already juggling daily performance reports may view CSA as just one more task, leading to low participation or rushed assessments. Third, if management fails to act on improvement suggestions, employee morale can drop. For instance, if staff raise a control weakness in system access during CSA and nothing is done, they may lose confidence in the process. Lastly, lack of motivation can affect the quality of CSA results. In a manufacturing plant, if workers don't see the value or reward in participating, they might not report control gaps honestly. So, while CSA is powerful, success depends on management support, clear communication, and visible follow-up actions. When control self-assessment, CSA programs are in place, auditors shift from being traditional checkers to becoming facilitators and internal control experts. Their main job is to guide teams in evaluating their own processes, rather than performing every audit step themselves. To do this well, the IS auditor must clearly understand the business processes under review. For example, in a CSA workshop at a bank, the auditor doesn't manually check every transaction. Instead, they help the staff assess risks in their department, highlight key control points, and suggest improvements based on potential threats. Using this facilitative approach, audits become more efficient, and staff gain ownership of controls. To further enhance audit quality, organizations often use an integrated audit approach, combining internal and external expertise to perform risk-based assessments of processes or the entire organization. This ensures that audits are focused on the areas that matter most and that controls are practical and effective. Integrated auditing is an approach that brings together different types of audits, like financial, operational, and compliance audits, into one cohesive process. Instead of auditing each area separately, auditors evaluate multiple aspects of an organization at the same time. This provides a complete picture of how well the organization is managing risks, maintaining internal controls, and following regulations and policies. For example, in a manufacturing company, an integrated audit could check financial reporting, production efficiency, and safety compliance in one review. This helps identify overlaps, reduce duplication, and focus on the areas with the highest risks, making the audit more efficient and insightful. The integrated auditing process is a step-by-step approach that helps auditors provide a complete view of an organization's risks and controls. Identify risks. First, auditors identify the risks the organization faces in the area being reviewed. For example, a retail company might face risks of inventory theft 7T or inaccurate sales reporting. Identify key controls. Next, they pinpoint the important controls that help mitigate these risks. Understand control design. Auditors then review how these key controls are designed and whether they make sense in practice. Test IT support. They check that the organization's IT systems properly support these controls. For instance, does the accounting software prevent duplicate payments? Test effectiveness. Auditors also test whether management controls actually operate effectively in day-to-day operations. Report findings. Finally, a combined report is prepared, highlighting the overall control risk, the effectiveness of control designs, and any weaknesses found. This approach ensures audits are efficient, thorough, and focused on real risks, giving management clear insights into both operational and control effectiveness.